Hello and welcome to my Harley Quinn dress tutorial. Before you get started with your tulle, you need to have a base dress. This acts as an opaque lining for under the tulle, something which we can attach the sequins to, and also attach the tulle to. I actually decided to use a dress I already had. Your other option would be to make your base dress from scratch. Here is an example of a pattern which could be good for this. I would look for a pattern that has a half circle skirt and a fitted top. Any adjustments like waistline and neckline can get made later. Before I do anything to this base dress, I analyse it. You can see there's these belt hoops on the side that need to go. The straps are a bit too wide, the neckline is the wrong shape and way too high, and I'm making the ripped version of this dress, so I need to cut the skirt at an angle. There's some loops on the back that was for a corset idea, they need to go. The dress also zips at the side and I plan on keeping this zip. So this is how it will close. In the film she actually has little closures on the back of her dress, so you can make that decision for yourself. There's also an elasticated back on this dress. I need to cut it into a V shape. Also it will not stretch when I put the non-stretch tulle on top of this, so that is something I need to keep in mind. Additionally, the halter straps on this dress tie at the back. In the film they're actually cut and sewn together. Before cutting your skirt, I would recommend marking out where you want to cut. The reason is that cutting is irreversible. You do not want to cut too much off and ruin your base dress. I do this standing in front of a mirror and just judge it by looking at reference photos. When marking this out, I just used regular chalk as it's all I had at the time. I would recommend using dressmaking chalk as it is much easier to remove. The main thing to watch out for when cutting is where the crotch is. You really don't want to cut it too short. Also, if you're cutting this accurate to the movie, it is shorter on the left hand side and longer on the right hand side. When I cut the skirt, I used regular scissors as the skirt needs to look raggedy anyway, but you can use fabric scissors. You can see I'm cutting away from the line I've drawn. One of my weaknesses I've found is I tend to misjudge the amount that I need to cut off. So by doing this, I avoid ruining my base dress, and I can always cut more off if need be. You can see I'm constantly looking at the mirror and judging where I'm cutting. I then remove more material one bit at a time until I'm happy with the front of the skirt. Once you're happy, I recommend moving about in the dress. I especially would try twirling in the dress. This way you can check if you're flashing anything that you don't want to. To cut the back of the dress, I put the dress on the mannequin. You could also do this for the front of the dress if you find that easier. I mark on and then cut a diagonal strip out the back of the dress. If you don't feel confident about cutting the skirt after marking, then just go and try it on again, have a look at where you've marked it and make sure you're happy. Then you can put it back on the mannequin and cut it off. I then try the dress back on to double check what it looks like in the mirror. Something else to keep in mind with the base dress is you're adding tulle layers on top of it, so it will end up being slightly longer than what the base dress is. Again, I would recommend moving about in the dress, especially try sitting down as you want to see how the dress moves. To adjust the halter straps, I tie them around my neck. I then take a measuring tape and measure from the very back of my neck down to where the strap should end. Always double check your measurements just in case. I then take the dress off and use that measurement to cut the straps. However, I add a couple of inches extra as I do need a seam allowance, and also it's just in case I misjudged the measurement. I then mark the fabric and cut with fabric scissors. I do this for both sides. After doing this, I realised that the strap flares out at the bottom and really it should be a uniform width. So I end up cutting the strap again, using the fabric remnants. If you're making your straps from scratch, they're basically just a rectangular shape. Next, I ironed the straps just to get them as flat as possible for the next step. Then I unpicked the strap. If you're making your strap from scratch, you obviously won't need to do this. Take a long rectangular piece of tulle that's 4 times the length of your strap. Then fold it over twice so that you have 4 layers. Pin one side of the fabric to the tulle. Then fold the fabric and the tulle over and pin the other side. When I lay this flat, you can see it has a bump in the middle here. Pinning the strap in this way will avoid the fabric bunching up when we go to sew it to the tulle, as it will ensure there's enough tulle to sit around the fabric once we fold it back. When we sew the strap, we want the stitches to be hidden, so in that case we need to turn it inside out and sew it that way. Take your pins and pin both sides together. Just make sure you don't leave any stray pins underneath. For sewing the halter straps, I want it to be a permanent stitch, so I do a couple of stitches and then do a back stitch, and then continue on with the stitches. I use my left hand just to guide the fabric through the machine. If you do find that your fabric is struggling to get through the machine, you can put a bit of magazine paper underneath, which I'll show you in the next step. I'm using a straight stitch for this. The length needs to be quite long because if they're too close together it can rip the tulle over time. The tension also needs to be quite high to ensure the needle has enough force to go down and then back up through the fabric. It's a general rule of thumb when using tulle. A lot of people recommend zigzag stitches for tulle. I was fine using the straight stitch, but you could also try a test with the zigzag stitch. The thread I'm using for this is just regular Sew All Gutermann thread. Once I'm finished, I back stitch again to secure the stitches. I cut the thread off and then trim any excess. You need to get rid of this excess tulle so that the strap lays flat. So now we want to turn the strap inside out. I had an absolute nightmare doing this. It took me about an hour to do both straps. What you can do to make this easier is buy a turning tube. It's basically a stick and a pipe that you put in and it helps you turn it inside out. The reason this is so hard to turn is because the tube itself is so narrow and tulle is not the most ideal fabric to hold on to. I use a steel rule to push the edges back out and to bring the straps back to a flat shape. I unpick the old straps and then line up where the new straps should be. I know I'm sewing my straps in at an angle, so I cut a little triangle off the end, once I work out roughly where they should be. If you're unsure about this angle, don't bother cutting them yet, do it after you've sewed, or you can always try on the dress and pin them on, and see what you think. Harley Quinn also has side straps that go around her arm. They are sewed right next to the halter straps but at a much wider angle. The straps are also quite loose. This allows range of motion, so you can see here what I'm doing as a test. I basically want to see how long to make this strap, and that's dependent on the range of motion. The strap connects to an armband which goes around the arm, so this one actually hangs right down, and hence I add a couple of inches onto the length, as this is what hers does in the movie. The next step of adding tulle to the side straps is exactly the same as adding tulle to the halter straps. The only difference is that instead of starting with a rectangular shape, this one will go into a curved point at one side, so that when it's folded over it has a point. This time when sewing the straps, I put a bit of magazine paper underneath. This stops any tulle from slipping when I'm sewing. I found the sewing process a lot easier and smoother doing this. Once you're finished sewing, you just rip off the magazine paper. If there's any little bits left, they're quite easy to remove. You can also use tissue paper or baking paper for this. When you're finished sewing the straps, I recommend ironing them. However, never put the iron directly onto the tulle. I then clip on all the straps to my dress to see what they look like and to see where they should be sewed and the angle. We don't sew the straps on yet, as firstly we want to change the neckline. I roughly mark out where I want the new neckline with a bit of chalk. Pay great attention to the shape of the neckline and also where the lowest part is. I really double check this as I don't want the neckline to be too low. In the film, the dress does not show that much cleavage. In order to make a new pattern for the top, I use baking paper. You basically want something sturdy and see-through where the ink won't bleed through into the fabric. Always do a test first, just in case. Firstly, I draw a line down the existing seam at the side of the top. I then continue this along the waistline seam of the top. Next, I sketch over the existing neckline. When I get to the very middle, I draw a line straight down. I use the chalk marking on the top underneath as a guide to seeing where the tulle should sit. I then make a new slightly curved neckline connecting the very edge with that line. I then mark on the area that needs to be removed, keeping in mind that I will need a seam allowance. Cut out the new pattern with fabric scissors. The reason that we actually make a pattern and not just do it freehand is because obviously both sides need to match. Then pin this to the top. Because I'm working on an existing dress, I need to unpick some of these threads. I would then recommend trying the dress on before removing any material. This means any further adjustments can be made. Once we're happy, we can start pinning this top. If need be, you may need to cut further down in the middle of the top. Just be careful not to cut too far. To do the other side, just flip the pattern over and use that as a guide. Again, before sewing the full neckline, I try my dress on. I double check that the neckline is correct, that the straps are at the correct angle, and that the side straps are roughly the right length. I can then go ahead and pin the straps to the neckline. As always, when sewing a more permanent stitch, make sure you do a back stitch. This secures your stitching. When sewing the neckline, I just want to remind you that there's tulle going over this, so if it's not exactly straight, don't worry too much about it. When you reach the centre V of your neckline, a good tip is to lower the needle down into the fabric. This will act as a pivot. Then what to do is pull your pressure foot lever up and then move the fabric around the needle. This means that your line of stitches will continue from where you left off instead of having to finish that row and then start a new one. I actually repeated this process again, so I sewed twice over the neckline. I did this to stop the neckline curling round when I wear it, and to make my stitching really secure. When you get to the end of your new neckline, make sure you backstitch again. So here we have the new neckline, and what I want to do now is sew these halter straps together. To join the halter straps together, just do a couple of lines of straight stitching. I make sure there's a good seam allowance when doing this. Also be sure to check that the straps are the correct way round. The back of this dress is straight and I want it to be a V shape, so I go ahead and change that now. I measure to find the centre of the top. And then I mark out where roughly I think the V should be. To be able to fold this material over, I cut a straight line down the middle. Once I'm happy with the markings, I then use pins to secure the excess fabric in place. Then I use a measuring tape to make sure the V lines I've drawn are straight. And as you can see, they're a bit curved, so I correct that. Next, I go ahead and sew the back of my dress. Obviously, the back of my dress is elastic. I would recommend either using or making a dress that does not have an elastic back. This was a challenge as I needed it to be non-stretch when it's actually designed to stretch. I actually add some elastic into the back of the dress. I want it to act as binding, I don't actually want it to stretch, but it's all I had to hand, and it made sense since the back was stretchy anyway. Once I put the tulle over the back, it's not really going to stretch much, but because this had a stretchy back on it, I just wanted to make sure that if there was any movement, that the thread wouldn't break. So in that case, I used a zigzag stitch. If you're ever sewing stretch fabrics or anything that needs to stretch, zigzag stitches are the best way. Here's what the back of the dress looked like. Obviously there's sequins on there, please ignore it, as this is another step. If you follow the steps in the order I'm giving you them, you'll honestly find it a lot easier. I wouldn't call this last part a step, but I want to explain what happened to my dress. If you choose or make your dress carefully, you'll choose one with a waistline that's lower than this. I never actually realised how high this waistline was until I tried the dress on with the tulle which I sewed later. And because I'm quite large chested, it makes it look even higher. So after having a slight meltdown, I decided to do something drastic, and that was to cut in a new waistline. The drawback of doing this was that I needed some seam allowance, so I would lose some of the length of the dress, but weighing the pros and cons, this did seem like the best solution. I carefully marked with chalk where I thought the new waistline should be, and then used that as a guide. I put my dress on the mannequin and used pins to accurately mark out the waistline. Once I was convinced they were all in the right place, I then went in and cut the waistline. You need to make sure before moving on to the next tutorial that your dress really fits well. Once the tulle is on, you won't be able to fix it very easily. You also need to make sure you get rid of anything like belt hoops or anything that might still be on there. Once you're happy, you can move on to tutorial 2 where we can start putting tulle onto the skirt.